Hi guys, my name is Sabrina and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be drawing an original character, so I'd say let's get on to the video. So one thing that I like to do as well is make original characters. I don't necessarily want to spend all my time drawing reference characters or fan art. Like, I love those things too, absolutely, don't get me wrong, but drawing original characters is so much fun too, because this comes from my own imagination. And this specific piece was inspired by artwork I've seen kind of going around, and it's been on my mind for a while. And basically I've seen this girl that was drawn, and she was in a certain pose, and well, it was more like her facial features that caught my eye, where I was like, I kind of want to try and see if I can draw something like that myself as well, and challenge myself to do something different. And I suppose that is kind of going to be my mantra for this year or something. Just try and inspire yourself to do new and different things when it comes to sketching and making my own characters, and just switch it up a little bit. Don't have everything exactly the same, which is easier said than done. I have to say, it can be quite tricky, because once you know something, you tend to maybe fall back on those things, and I did not want that to happen. So for this one, I know I'm only showing like half her face here, and that was on purpose because I really wanted to have the hair in front of the eyes and with an open mouth, and her hand kind of in her hair as well, and pretty much as you see the sketch being drawn right now. So that's what I was looking for, but I wasn't quite sure how I was going to dress it up even more. So what I did is I went browsing, and for those of you who don't know, browsing can be an amazing thing to inspire yourself and to get ideas and everything, especially if you land on sites like Pinterest. And there's so much out there with clothes and hairstyles and everything that could really help your artwork, and that's what I tried to do as well. Now, I had this idea in mind for her face, but I wasn't quite sure how to do her hair, and I tried a few different things with how I wanted to do the hair. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to switch up the style, how I'm usually drawing versus just something new. And I ended up drawing how I usually draw, but I did try it, and you might have seen that in the start that I started drawing the strands in a bit thinner than what I usually do. So that's what I've done. I went over it with my own style really, and I'm quite happy with like the long hair, and I wanted to have the flowers in there too. And I was like, what's better than just to have those flowers everywhere? I really like that idea. So in her hair, and like she's got like this, I want to say collar, but it's not really a collar. Like, how do you call that? I'm not sure even. But I wanted to have the flowers around her neck there as well. And I thought it would look really nice. And then, of course, in the background. So they're a massive feature in the background. And it really gives that really nice pop of red later on in there. And red is not even like my favorite color. It's my least favorite color. But that's what I went for. And for clothes, I was kind of a little stuck. So I did end up browsing, and I did end up on Pinterest. And I finally found this shirt with see-through arms, and it had No Bad Vibes on the shirt printed. So I thought, yeah, that would look really nice if I could do that myself as well. I know I've drawn see-through things before, and that's what you see me doing here too. So it kind of looks as if I'm drawing the skin color on the actual shirt, but that will change later on. So I started drawing the skin as I always do, with my highlights and my shadows and everything, including the arms. And I even went over it with pencil, because I really like the effect that the pencil has got on my drawings, on my art. I think it improves it. I think it makes it better. It makes things look more vibrant, and it really gives it a bit more depth compared to just the markers. And maybe it's because I don't have all the markers, I only have a limited amount. They're quite expensive, so I'd have to invest in it or get it as a birthday gift, but part of my birthday gifts have already been sorted, so I did not get Copic markers there. So yeah, we'll see how that's going to go in the future. But for now, pencils I really like as an addition to my art pieces and my artwork, and I really think it looks really nice when that's all incorporated into my work here. So for the hair, I wanted her to have brown hair but not too dark. So I picked 3 colors, and the first 2 are quite close together, but the third one is quite dark. And even though it's quite dark, I think it does match in with everything else, especially when I went over it with the white pencil and then the black pencil later on as well. I really think it looks quite nice and it works quite well. So it's like she's got like highlights going on in there, or low lights, or however you want to see that. But that's what I went for here, and I really like the outcome of that. So really happy with how that worked out. And of course I tried to make sure that all the shadow areas were darker, and the black pencil really helped with that too. And it is so tricky. I don't think you can see that over here in my drawing. It might seem as if everything is lit up properly or well enough, but for the pencil bits, especially when it comes to the darker areas, I find that it can be quite hard to see where the actual pencil goes and how it hits. And the best way for me to see where my pencil goes is to put a spotlight on that actual section of the drawing. And of course I don't want to do that when I'm recording, when I have just a big studio light on pointing up against my white ceiling here to just give the room a bit more extra light. And that helps a lot already as it is, but it doesn't point any light directly at the drawing, and I think that's what I'm missing. So I think that's what is a bit tricky here. So I don't know how I'm going to sort that, how I'm going to fix it, because I think my art can be even better if I have something really pointing at it. Maybe when I have like my spotlight coming from the top, I have like a railing and then a top that I could put a spotlight on. But I need to have like the office changed and everything as well, because I'm working with such a tiny area. It's a bit tricky. So what I did next was the flowers in her hair. I colored them red, as I said before, and even though it's not my favorite color at all, I think it does make sense with this drawing, especially because the flowers I had in mind are red and no other color at all. I think they're poppies. I think the poppies inspired me, so that's kind of what I went for here. I thought they would look really cute, and I did not go for full line art for those either. I kind of left them open in like sections, and I really like how that looks, the effect that gives. And yeah, they're not perfect, and I did not go for perfect in this drawing for the flowers, and I like it. I kind of like the effect that it gives, and you know, not always does everything have to be perfect. Sometimes you can just have these inconsistencies, and that makes the whole piece more interesting. So that's what I went for here. And when it came to her shirt, as I said, I wanted the sleeves to look see-through. And how I did that is, you saw me coloring in the skin tones as I usually do, and I went over that with a lighter gray. So while I color the shirt itself in, and like the top parts of her sleeve near her hand in with like the colors N7 or N5 and 7 and 9, the sleeves are N3, so they're quite light compared to the rest. And I went over the entire sleeve, including where I've drawn before, and you can kind of see the skin tone pop through. And that is exactly the effect that I wanted to give. I had it done with my Nightwish fan art, and I know that I did that with, I think it was like the top part of her dress or something that had like the see-through bit as well. And I was like, yeah, no, exactly. This is exactly what I want for this one. And I picked my colors and I went for it, and it worked. And I love it. And then of course for the creases, I went in with the darker grays because I wanted to make it seem as if the creases were getting darker as they would in real life as well. So it would just make sense. So that's what I went for there. And in order to put some contrast in the drawing, I went for a kind of turquoisey pants. And I really like how they look. I really like the color and the difference with the black and the red, and I feel it works. But I really liked the look and effect that this gives. And in order to put some extra shadows in here, while I did use 3 different colors of Copic markers to put like shadows in there and highlights and everything like I usually do, I found that I wanted to use some extra colors to basically make it darker and give it some more effect in there, and maybe a different shade as well. So you can see me going in with like a kind of like a blue, and I think that really worked as well for the piece. I think that gave it a nice finished look. And I went in with my blending stump and tried to blend out the pencil. Now, is that the best method to do this on top of a Copic marker drawing? I don't know. It kind of works. I can see it working. It works better with certain colors than it does with others. I think black is the color that it works the best with. And I don't know if it's because of the paper that I'm using or just because color pencils just react completely differently when it comes to blending out than HB or 4B pencils do. And I think maybe they work better for like the latter than with color pencils. But yeah, I'll try and see if I can find another method of blending them out, because I really do like how it looks. And I know this is a blending card and they go on top of Copic markers that has been put on the blending card, so it can be a bit tricky. But yeah, if you know any other tips and tricks on how to do that, just give me a shout down below in the comments and let me know how else you think I could blend them out, because I'd be very interested to hear and to try that out. I haven't personally found anything else yet. That's not to say that there isn't something out there that I should try, and you know, maybe I'm just very unique with putting colored pencils on top of my Copic markers to try and, you know, improve the drawing and everything. I don't know. Once that was done anyway with the pants, because I'm kind of rambling on here, I colored in the words on her shirt, and yeah, it just has no bad vibes, and I wanted to keep it in the same kind of color scheme as well. So I went in with the same colors that her jeans are, and with the red of the flowers as well. So it really kind of binds everything together, and I really like how that looks. I think it's quite pretty. And then as a finishing touch, I colored in all the flowers. So I made them all red. I made sure that all the centers were black, and I used like 3 different shades of red as well. Kind of what I always do. I kind of always go for like the 3 different colors to try and blend them together as good as possible. And the last color always kind of is too dark maybe. So that's why I tried to use the black pencil as well to improve that. And I really do think it improves it. Like, I'm quite happy with it. I don't think it would have looked as nice with just Copic markers. But that is just me. If you have any feedback about that, just give me a shout down below as well. And I'll take that into consideration, of course, as I always do. And I'm just very curious to hear what your opinion is about this drawing. I really like how this came out. I'm very, very happy with it. Now, I know that working with color pencils, it takes a bit longer, but I'm quite happy with the whole look and how everything turned out to be. So this is it, guys, the end of my video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm very curious, as I said, to see what you guys are thinking about the use of pencils in my artwork. And my opinion right now is that I want to keep using it, and that I think it looks better than it does without the pencils. So let me know, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.